I stand firmly in the fact that I'm one of the best to ever do this. For the culture, for my coast, and for my city. This is the Best Rapper in LA podcast. And I am your host, Murs. What up, though? And we're back. All of you who DMing me, thank you so much. It makes my day to think you listen or know you listen to this podcast enough to respond to like real questions I put in the podcast and ask real questions in return. Shout out to my boy Andre Lowe. I don't even know if he wants me to say his whole name. And The Last True Gentleman on Instagram is his name. He posted lots of gems if he decides to let you follow him. He's the one that, man, he was like a cool, I have to say it, I'm going to say it, a cool, handsome, young black man that, you know, was into hip hop, but was really kind to me. Most dudes who look like Dre that are older than me ridicule me, or as my homie Eric Payne taught me, big league me. I never heard that term before, but you know, if you don't know what it means, like, you know, just like I'm minor league, they're too good for me. But yeah, Dre never big leagued me. He was always a big brother to me. When Supernatural lost the battle to Craig G, I think we talked about on the podcast, but he's the one that called me from New York to tell me.
Yo, hold up, chill. Ain't no frontin'. Fuck that, man. Fuck that. Let me say something. This nigga stepped on the mic. Fuck that. The battle is dead. I still waxed him.
From a payphone in the 90s, long distance from New York to LA to call a 15-year-old kid. You're in New York partying at the NMS, New Year's, and your thing is like, yo, I gotta call the little homie and let him know. Because I wasn't gonna find out for weeks or months until the source came out, or maybe I think the Wake Up Show was on back then, it was like, or the joint with Mark Nardone and King M's, like something. But he wanted me to know. Still giving me great financial advice and supporting me to this day. And he's been wildly successful because he's a great human, and of course, that's how it should be. Excuse me, but he still listens. He listens and gives me feedback. So thank you, Steph Tees, who's about to come up in this story to call podcast. Mommy, hip hop head, community builder herself. Mothers are community builder by nature, but that's another reason making songs like Dark Skin White Girls, which we'll talk about this week, and Love and Appreciate are important to me, because Noah, I don't think, was doing an excellent job, and I wasn't doing the best job, but I was at least attempting to make women feel comfortable, because it's better for the community that way. By nature, they're a community. My wife has made me a fucking community. She always brought the best energy to me. She was like a sister. It was actually met my parents, stuff like that. Like, it's built from just me being a rapper, walking into a record store where she worked in Philly. I could say it once, I'll say it a million times. Like, this is what the culture is for. This is what this is for. Creating friendships, building community, building bridges, just making lifelong bonds. We'll talk about Philly and Steph later. But thank you. So please keep the emails coming. Somebody asked if I was going to talk about the marathon, and it was like, I had already run it. So if you're watching Instagram, sometimes these are ahead or behind. There's no linear thing. You know, the other day I had a bunch of business calls, and a kid from down the street came over from his grandma's house, and him and my son wanted to play. They're both off for Cesar Chavez Day. And, wanted to throw the football. So I ended up having a QB for both of them to play two-hand touch in the middle of the street, and blew off everything. So sometimes I'm behind, sometimes I'm ahead, and I never know what's going to happen, so I try to get ahead. God willing, I'll be able to come in once a week, though, and you know, I like being able to respond in real time. This beat is one of the bangers that I didn't know. I just rapped to it because he gave it to me. This concept I discussed with another rapper who wishes to remain nameless, and I think it was him, but it could have been someone else. But we were driving somewhere, and I was talking to them, and, you know, you make rap friends, like you get to know their girlfriend's friends. So I don't know if I was asking about his girlfriend or his baby's mom or one of his homegirls, but I was like, yo, she dates a black guy, or why did she date a black guy, or why did you date her? Because she was white and you're like, you're black, or whatever. Like you're mixed. I don't know which guy it was, but like, yo, you don't seem like you would just date a plain old white girl, especially if I'm hearing correctly about high school. And he's like, oh, but she's the dark skinned white girl, and I was like, dark skinned white? What is that? I was like, let's do a song, and then he's like, nah, I'm not touching that. You got it. So I was like, it was supposed to be a joke. So I think I was telling Knife I had a concept for it, I need a beat for it. And he said, this is the beat for it. Yes, this was another fight. We had huge fights. Like the honeymoon phase, like 316 something we did in 5 days. A country dude and a city dude who don't really know each other, having fun together, making something that doesn't matter to either one of them because we both have other things going on that are bigger, we think. And in some ways, yes. But we didn't think this was going to be, something we still work on 20 years later. Still making music together. If I was still making music, we'd still be making music together. I just spoke to him the other day. I love him. And I found a beat of his the other day. I was like, man, this is good God. Made me want to rap. I haven't wanted to rap until I was like going through my hard drive. I was like, ooh, shit, I didn't rap to this one. I said, this is a joke song. I can't write like the dark-skinned white girls. Ha! He's like, well, you got to do it to this beat. So him saying that made this song, which to me has touched a lot of people. I don't think I was writing songs yet to get girls to the show, like trying to write a panty dropper, but this might have been a good idea if that's what I was trying to do. I can neither confirm nor deny that's what I did with this one. I don't think so, but maybe I was thinking like, how do I get beautiful women to the show? Like I said last week, like that are appealing to me mentally and physically. I can make a song. Cause but like a dark skin, I need a white woman if I'm going to date a white woman, which doesn't happen for years from this point. Seriously, I need her to be familiar with Black culture. I had one of the rappers I work with and mentor somewhat come by my house from Oklahoma. And he was like, oh, you like a nigga for real. Like you're a real Black person. Like, I was like, yes, this idea that because I enunciate and use my white voice a lot, or I have white fans, whatever the idea is, but yeah, man, I live in the hood. I live on a black neighborhood. I have Black parents. I've been Black my whole life, But you're like, yeah, you for real. So that in order to have a successful relationship, someone's going to have to be a little bit familiar. So this could have been me like trying to, and then to date a Black woman, I definitely found like you definitely have to be, multicultural. And then we are the era that was discovering mixed girls or biracial girls or multi-ethnic, whatever. No offense. I was born in the 1900s, just let me know, but everyone has their choice. But we're definitely not going to say mulatto. I think that's officially ruled out. But I grew up in there where words like 1900s, words like Oriental and mulatto were used to describe humans, believe it or not. And the cordless phone was a revolutionary piece of technology. Do you remember the dot matrix printer? God, it was so advanced. Yeah. So these are me calling out to women that I'm familiar with, that have crossed my path, that I wish would cross my path. I'm saying a quarter Brazilian in the third verse. I never met a Brazilian woman. But because of this album, or because of this tour of this album, I marry a Brazilian woman. Go figure. Look at manifesting. This music's so good, makes me feel so bad. I was just gonna say, I don't know what it is, but apparently Apple Music knows what the vocal sample is saying. This beat, banger, I didn't realize it because I think I was too busy being mad. I had to make this funny song a serious song. I didn't think about how dope this beat was. But when it plays live, because I didn't go out and perform in this song either, thinking, yeah, so I definitely didn't write this for girls at the shows. But this right here, this beat, when it comes on, I was like, why haven't I been playing? When it drops, bro, it hits. He might just have this one mixed better. If you ever hear me perform these songs, all these songs are performed off instrumental MP3s. There's no sonic. We didn't bounce show editions in a big studio. It's rough.
This next song's called Dark Skin White Girls. She got that mochaccino baby on the back of the bus. If you close your eyes and listen, she would be one of us. Never did trust her family at home, so she kicked it in the hood, raised herself on her own. She talked with the tone, but she white.
Another thing I like about the song is the beat. Even if you're not a hip hop head, it's dynamic and it's ear catchy. And then this is where you win. Almost anyone can relate to these lyrics. And if not, they're at least interesting because it's something people haven't even really talked about in America is the struggle or the plight of bicultural people and biracial people. Like, this is all new. The love revolution, 60s, 70s, civil rights, integration, like all these things. It's new on a mass level. It's been happening. There's Loving Day and there's other stories of interracial relationships back to the non-consensual ones that created me and so many other people. That I watched the Africa World Cup and I'm like looking at, I'm literally, this is, if you don't understand the Black person's struggle for identity. I went to Africa recently and I didn't see anyone where I'm like, oh, like we're at the African convention. I'm with my mother and they're like, oh, sister. Everyone from Ghana said, my sister, come home, you know, and I could see my mother in their faces and how amazing and how much that reverberated through my spirit. I don't want to say resonate because it shook me to see my mother in those women and in her mannerisms. And if you ever met my mom, she has African style dress. One, my friends from Tucson visited us. They rang the doorbell and they got inside and they were like, man, we didn't ring the doorbell. It should go out to the because you're walking into the Lion King. My mom's very pro-Black and very African themed decor, giraffes, spears, shields, I don't know, shit like that. And then also Black American. She has these figurines, which Jesse Shakin, my mom has some figurines called All God's Children, little black figurines that you see like kind of at Walmart, but there's like Thomas Blackshear and there's all these, they're rare and they're probably going to be worth a lot or are worth a lot, I don't know. But she had a curio cabinet with these things. So imagine two boys, my brother's a really large individual, and us not having to be able to make any movements that would shake that thing to cause one of them to break or we would die, we believed. My mother probably wouldn't have killed us, but she would have beat us within an inch of our lives for breaking those things. Jesse Shakin is the only one of my non-Black friends that come over and be like, Miss Vivian, how are these all God's children and there's no other races? And I will love him for that to this day. We were a weird generation, man. You know, like white and Black kids sleeping over together, having sex together, openly having kids, and, you know, and then the parents being concerned because what is the world gonna think? I think it's kind of like now a lot of parents, my generation or boomers do non-binary. How do you expect to live in the world? How are you going to get a job with tattoos? All these things. So we are the generation. And we've been going through so much shit that we don't get to pat ourselves on the back. So I want to pat you on the back. I'm going to pat myself on the back, pat us on the back because we're dealing with it. But rap did a really poor job of acknowledging these things. You know, we did groove theory and I don't know how many songs there were about bicultural. Like there are white people that grew up in the hood or white people that grew up with hip hop and felt comfortable. Some didn't feel comfortable enough. You know, there's a whole spectrum of this new generation that like I've associated and adopted a lot of openly Black culture and it changed who I am. I've openly adopted a lot of so-called white American culture and it's changed who I am. And now I'm a Black girl who likes Green Day.
It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just up?
I love Bikini Kill. You know, these things weren't being brought to the forefront. So even if you didn't know hip hop or didn't like rap, once I start rapping this song, you could get into it. I think I did this song opening for Willie Nelson South by Southwest is about this time of year. And my DJ and I were one of the shout to Bavu Blakes, who's an OG in that scene.
I know somebody asking, just give them the facts. Tell them I'm doing fine. Tell them I'm doing great. Tell them I'm doing fine. Tell them I'm doing great. Tell them I'm doing fine. Tell them I'm doing great. They remember the Mr. Now it's Minister Place. Tell them I'm doing fine. It's my 4th week in 08. Insatiable greatness, I can't wait. Clean as my slate, what I'ma create. Something to glorify what a man can't make. He make money and he can make a mess. He can make his best effort to tell you he the best. But nobody foresaw the sharp left with Bavu breaks to the west. Tell him I feel fresh. I remember frustration. I remember the stress.
Bavu had hooked us up a gig. He was working at the local television station, got us a gig to perform live on air. We went to the wrong address and we started walking. This is before Uber or Bird Scooter or Lyft. So we found out we had to walk 45 minutes because you're not calling a cab during South by Southwest. They're booked. Everybody's going to the airport doing something. There's lots of very wealthy people there even back then. So this was about 05, 06. And it's funny how much like record collection and Warner Brothers try to take credit for certain things sometimes. Like, oh, we got you this TV gig. I'm like, no, motherfucker, Bavu got it. He just went through you guys. But when we got on MTV, we got you on MTV. I was like, no, this person did that. They just called you to put us on there. Warner Brothers, you didn't get me on MTV. A friend that I met hanging out somewhere, I think playing skee ball, became an executive at MTV. So that's why when you see later we get to Murs for President, you see me after every commercial or during the Hills, a wonderful person that got a job at MTV that was a fan that we hung out at South by Southwest, gave me, Aesop, and Atmosphere these spots. It had very little to do with Warner Brothers. This was another thing. We had an opportunity to perform live on TV during South by Southwest. It's not something rappers were doing a lot in 2005. And we're late, so I get there, and then my man's has hooked us up. Like, he's like, yo, you don't have to go on because everybody that was here for you left. So it's just everybody's waiting on Willie Nelson. I'm like, what? So yeah, he's like, everybody in the studio audience is waiting on Willie Nelson. All right. He's like, it would help if you did go on, because like I put him, he stuck his neck out for us. So I'm like, all right, we gotta do this. And because I'm a consummate performer, I could pull out the arsenal. Now I have an album of songs. So this is 06, I think. I have an album of songs with no cursing, because that's not going to go over for TV or the Willie Nelson piece. So I don't have to do a clean version. And I have the instrumentals. So I believe I did Silly Girl.
All right, this next song is called Silly Girls, but I'm sure everyone in here doesn't want to hear about black men. This is a song about a young black man not getting laid for once. We all don't have money and multiple girlfriends around our swimming pools with bikinis. It's a myth. And we can all move and dance a little bit. It's okay. Because I'm not gonna assume that all white people can't dance on beats like that. That would be rude of me, This is a song about waiting and to have sex until you're in a committed relationship. She thought that making me wait was the way to get me hooked. Now, fellas, we all know the oldest trick in the book.
And I'm also a bicultural person. I recently just got into NASCAR solely to write a song about NASCAR. And then I really got into it. That song is not streaming anywhere. It's called She Drove a NASCAR, I think. It's a very disgusting, vulgar, raunchy song, but I wanted to rap. I was so into the hyphy movement that like it had a hyphy beat with cars zooming and kind of like a song about fast car, NASCAR, or whatever. I was like, oh, I gotta have something with like a fast car in the background.
Fast, NASCAR, 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 fast, NASCAR, NASCAR, fast.
Being myself, I was like, I can't just make a song about a fast car. I want to do a NASCAR rap song because no one's ever done it.
It's the National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing, and it's so amazing. I got hooked on it from this girl I'm dating. Hick chick, thick as hell. Met her at a bar down at ATL. I bought her a drink, she said,
I like the taste, but I can't talk to you till after the race.
Said if that's the case, then baby, what's the deal? I don't understand NASCAR, what's the thrill? She said,
Speed, power,
to
passion.
me it's just a bunch of white boys in traffic.
I've always try to push the culture forward with my pen. Since I'm not a producer, the way, I think maybe that's what me and I have in common, the way he's chopping things in a way and using things people wouldn't use. And I'm trying to do that with my pen. Got into NASCAR, so I was able to tell NASCAR jokes. I pointed to somebody in the crowd, like, oh, that's a Kyle Busch one. Like, that's the Dale Earnhardt, rest in peace. Like, I was able to point out different, like, oh, that's Casey Kane. I think he was like, Casey Kane was like a rookie back then, blah, blah, blah. Like, I knew all the teams, Roush, Penske, like, and they're like, I'm a black dude with an afro. And they're like, huh? And then I'll go into Silly Girl, which everyone can feel. There's no curse words. And I tell them, and I know how to play the crowd, like this is rap with no curse words, y'all. Like, Better Than the Best has a Motown sample. Everyone knows the Motown sample, the Can't Help Myself. So, like, these things help me to have, like, I could put together a set for Willie Nelson, and I rocked. These people enjoyed themselves. And I didn't have to fuck off my homeboy who made a player call for us. Like, he hooked it up. And so and then I think hopefully he looked even better. Like, oh shit, this kid got up and rocked for a room full of Willie Nelson fans.
Okay, hi guys. I am obviously not Willie Nelson, but he will be here shortly. If rap offends anyone, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. My hair, I don't know, man. It is offensive. I'm sorry, I was going the Bob Marley route, but I lost my way somehow. Somewhere along the way, I got lost. Maybe it's all the marijuana. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Murs. Okay, turn down the mic, please. Let's go. Now my element son has come, the one chosen to break up the ice that has the rap world frozen. Speak that slang that'll heat up the game. Now roll down your window, turn the beat up and bang like feeling the breeze. Let the world know they still making real MCs. So please make a call, tell your friends, tell the hood we back in revenge. Never sounded so good.
But Dark Skin White Girls, Silly Girl, like, there's a song, and I forgot last week, like, this is the spectrum. Like, Silly Girl is the most abrasive song on here. It's the freak details of this album. This is a record by a black man where there hasn't rapping black man that I don't think the word bitch is on here once. A woman's not called a bitch the whole album. And I'm talking about staying together in a long-term relationship, talking about the struggle of, a little bit talking about catcalling and doing a song for the women who feel alienated. The same way, like, Kwame, I just did a panel with him recently at WonderCon, and I was able to give him his flowers. Like, he was able to show me, like, oh shit, like, One of the Big Boys is a song where he gets dissed for being different. That song didn't exist. Dell and Kwame, like, were there for me, and they're there but who's there for the young black women or young brown women or these young women who are feeling that they don't have a voice? And I don't look like them, but I could try to give voice to it. And I've been criticized for that. Like, you're not a woman. You can't say that. You're not gay. You can't write that song. But I'm like, well, if I wait around for somebody to write it, then it's not going to get done. And I have a fan base where I can impact a few people to make your song. When we get to Animal Style, that'll be another story. On the lighter side, I hear this beat now and I'm like, fuck. Raekwon or Ghost would have killed this beat. And I'm like, this is kind of a Ghost song.
I'm from a place where fish was made. Corduroy Valley, sporting those rockin' caves. Raheem Kane, high self-esteem, promise me a moment in life just to wreck y'all lanes. Throw the tech to your brain, putting the best to shame. This is Theodore, best to tuck those Dana Danes. See me coming, start running in. Hey yo, back. Who the fly niggas when we walk through the party? Pimp talk with the max strapped to our body. Bartenders is nervous, afraid to serve his best.
Supreme Clientele is one of my favorite albums of all time. I'll say it again for those maybe new to the podcasters. 3 things we don't play about in my house: God, Tupac, and the Wu-Tang Clan. Yo, this is such a Ghostface song. The Supreme Clientele, every song but one song, somebody or Ghostface mentions food in every album. If you haven't done that dissecting.
When I'm writing my raps, you know, it depends on where your mind take you. When I say, oh, this rap is like ziti, you know what I mean? You know how ziti look, cause ziti's pretty to me when it's freshly baked and mozzarella stretching off of the noodles and all that. You know what I mean? So I said a lot of ziti, a lot of baked macaroni and cheeses and turkey wings and, you know, in my raps, but it's rap. You can say whatever you want to say in your rap, but the people get what I'm talking about.
Ice cream, of course, whether chocolate or vanilla or you're somewhere in between. Like, I don't sound like Wu-Tang. I don't sound like Freestyle Fellowship. These are impactful groups. I try to pay homage to or give flowers in the way of being unique in my own way instead of copying or imitating, which is another form of flattery, influence. But the influence shines through in this hook, where it's like whether chocolate or vanilla or you're somewhere in between. And the beat is just like Ghost would have killed this, or Ray, but I feel like Ghost more like, you know, and even that, like, pardon me, you know, you cooked all, like, this is like, when we get to the verses, even more Ghost, but cappuccino, mocha, or a caramel queen, that's directly from Ice Cream. Rejected by the black, not accepted by the white world, and this is dedicated to them dark-skinned white girls.
Whether chocolate or vanilla or you're somewhere in between, a cappuccino mocha or a caramel queen, rejected by the black, not accepted by the white world, and this is dedicated to them dark-skinned white girls. Whether chocolate or vanilla or you're somewhere in between, a cappuccino mocha or a caramel queen, rejected by the black, not accepted by the white world, and this is
That's the E40 influence. Like, this is a term that didn't exist in rap. And I don't, you know, some people reference it now, it didn't catch on, like, you know, but a lot of E40 slang doesn't catch on, but it creates a world, the Murs verse, where dark-skinned white girls are a thing within my community of fans.
She got that mochaccino baby on the back of the bus. If you close your eyes and listen, she would be one of us. Never did trust her family at home, so she kicked it in the hood, raised herself on her own. She talked with that tone, but she white to the bone. You would swear she was black if you spoke on the phone. Some say it's overblown, but she don't give a damn. All the black girls think that she want they man, but it's not your fault they attracted to you. That you blessed and you got as much back as you do. Most white boys say that you're way too thick, and some brothers might say you're the number one pick. You say, girl, roll your eyes, twist your neck, but it comes from the soul. You don't mean no disrespect, and even when they check you, you just keep it moving, cause in your heart you feel you ain't got nothing to be proven. Whether chocolate or vanilla or you're somewhere in between, a cappuccino mocha or a caramel queen, rejected by the black, not accepted by the white world, and this is dedicated to the...
She got that mochaccino baby on the back of the bus. If you close your eyes and listen, she would be one of us. Never did trust her family at home, so she kicked it into the hood, raised herself on her own. She talked with that tone, but she white to the bone. You would swear she was black if you spoke on the phone. Some say it's overgrown. I say overblown. It says overblown, but she don't give a damn. All the black girls think that she want they man. It's not your fault they attracted you, that you blessed and you got as much back as you do. White girls with ass was a new thing for a lot of black people, especially in California. This is way pre-Kim K. Not like natural ass. And me touring and seeing this was like, whoa, Southern white women on Southern diets or whatever it is, or going back to the non-consensual relations and the, what does Harry Potter say? The mudbloods, all that. Say that with a light heart.
No one asked your opinion, you filthy little mudblood.
You blessed and you got as much back as you. Some white boys say that you way too thick. Some brothers might say you the number one pick. You say, girl, roll your eyes, twist your neck. I love it. Also, this is a song where I know I'm writing, where when I perform this, I can also do visual things and roll my neck and snap my fingers, and that's pulling people in. That's entertaining. Aside from, look at me, I have a gold chain, I rap really fast, I'll kill you, I rap really slow, I rap really good. Look at me, I'm the best rapper, look at me. That shit has been whack to me for a while. Some brothers might say you're the number one pick, say twist your neck, but it comes from the soul. You don't mean there's no disrespect. And even when they check you, you just keep it moving, because in your heart you feel you ain't got nothing to be proven. This comes from riding the AC Transit in Oakland and taking the BART and seeing, especially there are a lot of white women who, I won't say a lot, but more than I was used to in LA, like seeing whites and the black community don't really mix like that in LA from my era. But Oakland was already having, white girls, There's in typical like white mothers of biracial children who have the kids on the bus with their hair fucked up, and some of them have it tight. That's a whole nother can of worms. But yeah, this was for that those women. When I got to the East Coast, definitely even more like authentically just a part of Black culture. You know, like if you were from whatever region of Spain and you lived in another from Spain and you're originally from this area, if you're Spanish, you have the same skin tone or features, so no one could tell you're not was a Castilian or you're Basque. Like they wouldn't be able to tell from your look for the most part. But if you and if they could and you adopted the culture of the region you lived in, no one would say anything. It's not as weird. South of it, if you're born in Napoli but you're raised in Rome, and Northern Italy is very different from Southern Italy, from my knowledge. But you're not, you may be a little dark or whatever, like you could tell people are from Naples or whatever, Napoli, but like it wouldn't be so jarring. So when you see a Black person, quote unquote, acting white or sounding white, like a white American or doing things only usually white Americans do and vice versa, it's jarring to us because of the skin color, but it really shouldn't be. We're all Americans. This fucked up whatever thing we got going on, this experiment, we're all a part of it. But the construct of race and the appearance creates a hurdle. It makes it awkward, but makes for some beautiful ass babies. Yeah, like Emile LaRue, I don't even know if she's like mixed, but that like groove theory in hair, I rapped about that earlier. Like mixed girls, she's Louise. And I now dated like not just Black and white, like I dated a Filipino and El Salvadorian girl. I was meeting more women of different with, to somebody from North Carolina. Once again, I was like, later on, I was like, yo, like, you got any homegirls or something? And they're like, I don't know. You don't date Black girls. I was like, you met a girl I dated. But I get this girl is mixed with El Salvador. She's El Salvadorian and Black or Creole or whatever. But she was like, you date other. I'm like, other? Like there's no other. There's Black and white in a lot of places in America, and then there's other. You could be Chinese, Venezuelan, Peruvian, Japanese. It doesn't matter. Ugh, Murray, I don't know what to do with you. You date the other. I was like, I date Black women. This is a Black. In LA, she was a Black woman. No one would think anything else. But you go to other regions, so I'm learning that as well. But like, yeah, like that could be like, like, never did trust a family at home. So like, put your ghost face voice on somebody. So she kicked it in. And I kicked it in the hood, wouldn't go with. Whereas there was one where I was like, or I even smacked. Say, girl, like it's just like, and even though they check you, you just keep it moving. I'm fucking up my Ghostface impersonation, but yo, I definitely could hear how maybe I was trying to do that a little bit. Now she like the Smiths, the Cure, really into Morrissey, heavy on the rock, never fool with the Jodeci. Noticed she was never really welcomed by the others. So at this point, I had heard of the Smiths, the Cure, and Morrissey. I still didn't know any music for that. I'd seen them on Coachella with me.
Ice Age to the Gold Age, there is just one concern. I have just discovered some girls are bigger than others. Some girls are bigger than others.
But I saw them on T-shirts growing up. The Smiths, I could still would take it or leave it. Morrissey, same. The Cure, I wish like the Sublime T-shirts I saw in high school. I wish, and maybe this is why I wasn't able to date any Latinas in high school, because I wasn't thinking like, oh shit, let me learn the band. But a lot of people weren't wearing band merch as much. But I do remember the Cure, the Smiths, and Morrissey T-shirts floating around my high school. So I knew that from there, and then by this time I met women who listened to it. I still couldn't tell you a song by them. But The Cure got slaps. My wife and I, we went on one of our first dates of our reintroduction to each other to a Cure concert. But that was that was a fucking missed opportunity to hear some dope stuff.
Dark skin, now she like the Smiths, the Cure, really in the Morrissey, heavy on the rock, never fool with the Jodeci. You notice she was never really welcomed by the others. Hard to find a date when there was only 10 brothers in the whole damn school, and they thought she was weird, cause she wore her hair different and she never joined cheer. Her melancholy dolly with a polywarner syndrome, white stepfather, black daddy, never been home, and went on the quad. She could hear her mom say, look at how she walks, why she talk that way? But girl, it's okay, your black is beautiful, no matter how you dress or no matter what music you like. Forget what they say, you doing it right. No more grabbing on your pillow as you cry through the night. Stand strong, hold your ground at any cost, and know that everyone who tries to put you down is lost. Whether chocolate or vanilla, or you're somewhere in between, a cappuccino mocha or a caramel queen, rejected by the black, not accepted by the white world.
Heavy on the Rock never fooled with the Jodeci. If you were a black woman in my era, you didn't know Jodeci. Some of this was also like my mom who we talked about just this episode being very Afrocentric, very black. It's very black, but she was at the school when she graduated school, she was like, I guess, the valedictorian of the black kids. God, I don't remember, or runner-up valedictorian, but the valedictorian I think was white. So the LA Times came to ask her about something about the Black Panthers, and my mom said, who? So I think maybe that's what caused her to, she was very aware about, I grew up reading, I read Soul on Ice by Eldridge Cleaver when I was 13, 14 years old. You could tell from my look in this podcast, like I'm very aligned with black culture. But I think that was like, for my mom, the girls like that, like my mom loved the Beatles. She had Beatles tennis shoes. Notice she was never really welcomed by the others. Hard to find a date when there was only 10 brothers at the whole damn school and they thought she was weird. I went to a school in Covina, Glendora, California, where there were 2 or 3 black girls in my grade, and maybe 5 in the school. Those were my choices of girls to date. We talked about that. So then if you're a left of center black person, in my high school, there are really no black people of the opposite sex on the same page as me. Like I said, I'd have to convert or introduce them to my style. So that's a couple thousand black kids. Now, and when I was in the white neighborhood, like, what are the odds I'm going to find someone like me in a group of 5 girls and 2 girls within my grade? Because, age is such a big deal at that age. Hard to find a date when there's only 10 brothers in the whole damn school, and they thought she was weird because she wore her hair. This isn't like about me and about girls that I did meet as I started a tour. Wore her hair different, and she never joined cheer. A melancholy dolly with a polywarner syndrome. There's a black actor that is rumored to not date black women because they were so unkind to him growing up. I think I met some girls who do the same thing that won't date black men. I come across all the time mixed girls that, especially on tour, they'll talk your ear off. And then you're like, yo, what's up? I'm like, no. And then like you find out like, oh, should I talking to other people? And they're like, oh, she only dates white guys. Like, wow. But is you at me being a black male and know how cruel black women were to me, and I know black men can be cruel as well, and kids can be cruel. It was understandable. Like, oh shit, like you don't fuck with niggas at all. Yeah, I probably wouldn't either. It's like I always look at people who choose to only date black men. I'm like, Yeah, good luck with that. Like it takes a lot of, there's so much trauma there that you may not have a shared understanding of that it's a challenge. And we're not patting ourselves on the back, nor are we suiting up to go. You fall in love, you're attracted to someone, you guys like the same things. And then when you get deeper, it's hard, but you didn't know that you had to come equipped for it. So you try to fight through it. But yeah, if you're going to do that, prepare for the fight. It's hard for just men and women or just two people in love to get along. And then you bring around the traumas of institutional racism. And it's hard. It's a challenge on top of a challenge.
A melancholy dolly with a polywarner syndrome. White stepfather, black daddy, never been home.
Melancholy dolly, melancholy girl dolly. I like that. This is a definite ghost thing. Scotty Waddy copper hit me. Big fight. Scotty Waddy something dopper hit me. Big fight phone hipsy. Hip Poughkeepsie really high. The vivid like that that's a melancholy dolly with a polywarner syndrome. Definite ghost right there, and not even consciously. But fuck with Patone Stizzy really high. The vivid laser I got. I'm about it. Lord forgive me, Miss Sally shot it. Tracy got shot in the face. The house are overcrowded. Like that is like that in the first verse.
Hey, yo. Scientific, my hand kissing, robotic listic, optimistic. You probably missed it. Watch me dolly dick and Scotty Waddy competent me. Big microphone hippie, hip Poughkeepsie, crispy chicken burst, fuck up a Stone Richie. Chop the O, sprinkle a little snow inside of Optimo. Swing the John McEnroe, rap rock and roll, tidy bow, gun hole pro. Starsky with the gum so, hit the rum slow. Perot kids, live Rapunzel, Patone Stizzy really high. The vivid laser I got, jump in a Harley ride, cross I freak a lemon pie. I'm bout it. Lord forgive me, Miss Sally shot it. Tracy got shot in the face. My house was overcrowded. You fake cats done heard it first on how I shitted on your turf at time. Cuban link verse show. Check out the rap kingpin. Summertime fine jury dripping.
Because even when they check you, you just keep it moving. You know? Lord forgive me, Miss Sada shot it. Like that, and then quoted someone else. Like Ghostface is an ill storyteller. Definitely right there. But Polly Warner is reference to Fear of a Black Hat. There's a song called Polly Warner Cracker, but it's about a black woman who wanted a white man. Polly Warner Cracker, get it?
Time she turns around, all the people in the neighborhood look and get mad and say, Polly Warner. Polly Warner.
What's up, baby? Brother like me can't kick it to a sister like me.
Hold up, no. A brother like you cannot kick it to me.
Wow. You flying all that now? Let me tell you something.
A brother like you can do is pay my rent.
Let me tell you something. This is a black thing here. You gonna understand it's a black thing.
White stepfather, black daddy, never been home. That was all this also kind of like Kid Rock was one of the few rappers talking about this. He had a song talking about his personal experience. I perform this sometimes and I think I get a look and some people are like, black daddy, never white stepfather. What story is that? It's usually the white stepmother. I think people thought that's not believable, but that's what I was referring. White stepfather, black daddy, never been home. So just kind of shout out to Kid Rock before I knew I shouldn't do that. And when she hit the quad, she could hear him all say, look at how she walks. I did go to SMC with the dark-skinned white girl that often inspired the song. One of my first experiences, like, oh man, we're so much alike. Because she was from the hood and blah, blah, blah. But she would only want to talk to the white guys in my crew. And I was like, wow, this hurts. Like, you friend the shit out of me and tell me how much you want to fuck with my boy who doesn't give a fuck about you. And he's not even, definitely back then I was not dating outside of my race. I was like, and he's not even black. Oh, but I couldn't even be mean to her because she was so beautiful to me. But like inside and out, I never met a black girl from the hood that was she wasn't even into weird hip hop. She got into weird hip hop because she was into weird fringe music in general and kind of, that's something we haven't talked about the podcast, about how those worlds just kind of come together. Oh, I'm into, and you will know us by the Trail of the Dead. Why not check out Atmosphere? They have the same booking agent. They don't know that they have the same booking agent, but it just happens. It happened, and I liked it, and I thought it would, even way back then. And so this is me talking to her there, like when you're in the quad, like there's a quad at community college, it's a big ass high school. Look at how she walks, why she talked that way. But girl, it's okay. Like hearing she would be being friend zoned by her, I would hear the stories she would get on the bus and blah, blah, blah. But girl, it's okay. Your black is beautiful. No matter how you dress or no matter what music you like. Forget what they say. You doing it right. No more grabbing on your pillows. You cry through the night. Stand strong. Like no one was making songs like this affirming without trying to fuck. Like, you know, LL Cool J is going to tell you all this shit that's nice and not curse at you and call you an around the way girl because he wants to fuck. I need love. I want you. So I'm going to tell you this. This was me just saying, I feel you, girl. I see you like Dale saw me, like Kwame saw me, and I want to pay that forward to you through this culture that is fucking taking chunks out of your psyche, your sense of self-worth, or trying to. That's what I'm trying to do with these songs. I'm not getting asked about that in the interviews. No one's interviewing me about the song. No one's interviewing me. Like, this is still underground rap. Black people saying this, BET will soon say that De La Soul is not not relevant to the black culture because us fringe white and black people weren't considered a market or demographic if it wasn't pop trash music. But I feel like what about the message of Michael and Prince? Like, that's why they attracted a pop crowd, I think, because they had when they had a message, it was a unity message. And we grew up on black and white and that shit. So of course, when we go to the show and we see black and white people, like, to me, it's kind of like still it is, we are a pop audience. It's just, they didn't think hip hop was a pop. Hip hop was still black music to BET, to MTV. Shout out to Travi from Gym Class Heroes, like making that, like, I remember around this time going to the Woody Awards with Travi, and we spoke about it, Travi and me and Sean. Like, it was, you know, there was a time we were getting somewhere. You know, I think now, like, people like Tyler are there in a major way.
I'm a walking paradox. No, I'm not. Threesomes with a freaking triceratops. Rep talk, rapping as a mocking death rock stars. Wearing synthetic wigs made of N-words, dreadlocks.
Girls, no more grabbing. Stand strong, hold your ground. It costs know that everyone who tries to put you down is lost. This is some of my favorite lyrics. To me, some of the most powerful, like the last two bars of Everything. Like, I say these lines when I perform it live with that thing. Like, know that everyone, and it'll only be when I can perform it for a girl that wants me to perform it. It will only be one or two, but I would rock it out for them. And, you know, I think for the most part, not try to sleep with them. But this is when I write. I remember how I felt when I wrote that. I was like, this is a cold ass bar, because you got the stand strong, hold your ground. You know, everyone tries to put you down. It's lost, cost, lost. To me, good rapping, multisyllabic rhymes, syllabic, however you say it, but with meaning, no curse words, no ulterior motive other than to uplift someone in pain and a woman in pain.
Stand strong, hold your ground at any cost, and know that everyone who tries to put you down is lost. Whether chocolate or vanilla, or you're somewhere in between, a cappuccino mocha or a caramel queen. Rejected by the black, not accepted by the white world, and this is dedicated to the dark-skinned white girl. Whether chocolate or vanilla, or you're somewhere in between, a cappuccino mocha or a caramel queen. Rejected by the black.
Now, for you half and mixed girls, I know what the battle be, and Ali, and I know Kamani, there's lots of people who can call me out. I'm just gonna give myself the first credit, and you can correct it if you want. And I'll mention it for sure. Now, for you half and mixed girls, I know what the battle be. Every time you go out, it's what's your nationality. Everybody always want to dig up in your background. You don't look. And how does that sound? I couldn't tell you were. Oh, is that right? Do you take it as a compliment or start up a fight? Venezuelan and Indian, Rican and Dominican. Never met a Venezuelan and Indian person, but I tried it. Venezuelan and Indian, Rican and Dominican. Took me so, I can remember my lyrics a lot. Took me a long time to get this part correct. Rican and Dominican, Japanese or Portuguese, quarter of Brazilian, just all those, meeting Japanese people who were Brazilian, that spoke Portuguese around this time, like going to restaurants was where that came from. White and Korean, black and Panay. Is it me or like black and Filipino people? Yeah. I knew that was happening around me. I think I met one girl that was black and Filipino, and then my homegirl, one of my dearest friends, and I wouldn't, one other person, I wouldn't be a rapper probably without her support and just her kindness, is my white and Korean homegirl. And she is just a phenomenal human. But yeah, like meeting her, and like dad's from Alabama, mom Korean, she's fluent in Korean. Her sister, is full Korean, and just the cultural things that she works in Koreatown. She even came to work for my family at South Central. Just very LA, like white people, Korean people, black people. That's like LA shit. We're all in It's not normal for a lot of places in America or in the world. But where we're doing business and rubbing shoulders, and, there's a white and Korean girl working at a black-owned cleaners in South Central. She's just one of the greatest humans I ever met. So I wanted to, and seeing her struggle. It's not just, like I said, this is not just for black people. This is my experience trying to, and then I found out it was rare. Like, I thought Bloods and Crips were everywhere when I was a kid. I thought that, like, oh, everybody's mixing people up like this. Everybody knows what Indian food is. Everybody has little Ethiopia and Koreatown, but nah. I came up here going to Koreatown, seeing Korean written on businesses and being familiar with kimchi and things like that, thinking that was completely normal. And then though it's not, so I knew it was not, and I'm reaching out. I could find out later, don't matter, like, you're a person, you're not like an experiment. It's also very comic booky, or, like, oh no, don't get captured in experiments. It's like, people want to capture you. You're exotic. It's something my partner does not care for at all. As a Brazilian woman, like, you get exoticized, and I've done it, and but this is me, like, being aware of it at least and trying to be accountable. I could find out later, don't matter, if you're just a beautiful human. What's up? And it doesn't really make most of us guys. We just need an excuse to get close and say hi. And then here comes the woman on woman hate, which being friend zone, I got to hear a lot about. I know they call you stuck up. You think you're too pretty, spread rumors about you all throughout the city. So much attention, so many haters, but don't be bitter. You'll be better for it later. It's another bar I felt like I wrote my ass off on.
I know they call you stuck up, you think you're too pretty, spreading rumors about you all throughout the city. So much attention, so many haters, but don't be bitter, you'll be better for it later. Whether chocolate or vanilla, or you're somewhere in between, a cappuccino mocha or a caramel queen, rejected by the black, not accepted by the white world, and this is dedicated to them dark-skinned white girls. Whether chocolate or vanilla, or you're somewhere in between, a cappuccino mocha or a caramel queen, rejected by the black, not accepted by the white world, and this is dedicated to them dark-skinned white girls.
And Bitter Better, I feel like that was in some girl chick flick. Like, I watched rom-coms, chick flicks, had a lot of home girls or girlfriends, and I started resenting it as the older I got. I ridiculed my best friend, so sorry for having so many homegirls that he wasn't having sex with, but I was venomous. I was upset that I had been used as a crutch for so many years by women who knew I had feelings for them and wouldn't lead me on. But, yeah, they could at least hook me up with somebody. Yeah, but I know, like, girls saying, like, oh, she thinks she all that, or mad or jealous. And it's worse because you stand out. Like, you look different. So, like, in LA, there were mixed girls that were known throughout multiple high schools, rappers getting at them and shit, dudes pulling up, grown men pulling up to the school to see these legendary mixed girls. Like, this was a thing. And so much attention, so many haters. Spread rumors about you all throughout the city. This is what one of the girls I dated that I talked about earlier, I brought the property value down, quote unquote, on, was one of these girls. And I'm like, yo, like, this dude works why is he picking you up from our high school? That's not a literal thing. I'm not outing anyone. But don't be bitter. You'll be better for it later. Yeah, that's it, man. That is Dark Skinned White Girls. There's another week on one song. next week, we finally get to the last song. We'll be done with this album. Thank you all that joined the Patreon. Thank you all that listen. And see you next week. See you next week. See you next week. See you next week. Thanks for listening to the Best Rapper in LA podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing on Spotify, Apple, wherever it is. If you like the show, leave a review on Apple Music or Spotify. And to support the podcast directly, go to patreon.com/MURS316, Murs316. See y'all next week. Peace. Peace.